Welcome back to the eForged podcast, where overwhelmed operators become empowered leaders and we forge businesses, influence, and legacies at last. I'm your host, Corey Long. Today's episode is going to be a fun one for me because I get to flip the mic. I've been a guest on my guest show. We spent time talking through marketing, AI visibility, how education businesses need to evolve in today's landscape. Now it's time to bring him into the Forge and talk about what he does best. My guest today is Scott Carson, a real estate investor, educator, founder of a business that's helped thousands of investors understand and profit from note investing. Scott has been in the trenches for years. He's built a business around teaching people how to invest in distressed debt, performance notes, and alternative real estate strategies that most investors never even learn about. Today, we're going to be talking about some of those note investing fundamentals, but really how Scott's built an education business around it, what most people don't understand about notes and how all that works, and really about how the marketing and AI is changing, not only how investors find deals, but how everyone out there is finding things online to build authority and grow their brand. Guys, this is going to be a practical episode. It's experience driven based on what he's already seeing online. And it's built on reps, not theory, not some kind of big thing. This is built on reps of him doing the work over and over. Scott, man, welcome to the podcast. I am excited to have you today because you and I, every time we talk, it's like there's a little bit of magical dust that gets kind of floated out there. This is going to be fun, man.
Yes, sir. First of all, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, no,
Excited to be here. You had a great episode with you on my show a few weeks back.
yeah.
And honestly, this has been marked on my calendar with like quadruple stars around it that I'm like, I gotta be here to make this one. So yes, honored to be here. We're gonna have a blast today for sure.
Yeah, I'm excited. You and I both are in Texas. We're probably about to get hit with a massive cold front, and this weekend we're all going to freeze. Bread and milk's gone off the shelves already. So,
Yeah, I've already been using AI marketing to create some thumbnails of like the pipes bursting above me or me on a dog sled. Instead of Uber, it's Dogber, to help
yeah,
people out of the half inch of ice that we're going to have here in Austin that's going to shut the whole city down. You know what I mean?
whole city's just going to be done.
That's right. That's right.
But
We
that's
will.
Texas, right? That's Texas.
We
That's what
will
happens.
rebuild. Well, it's always a sign when Ted Cruz jumps on an airplane and flies the hell out of Dodge.
Yeah, that's your big sign. Here's your big sign. Yeah, dude, I am excited because you and I were just talking about this. You're already seeing, I know you do the note investing, you've got podcasts, how many episodes do you think you've actually done in the podcast world? Do you have any idea?
Over 2,000 in total when you compare it to because we
That's
have
crazy.
our main show, the Note Closer Show, has been around. It's our longest one for 8 plus, maybe I think we're going on 9 years now. But I just recorded episode like 1,064 yesterday. And then we've got, Note Night in America's at 275, a couple other smaller shows, are like 100. My Best of Scott Carson, where I've been on other people's shows, is at
Yeah.
this which I'll take this and make that an episode of that will be episode like 275 on
Oh
being
my
guest
goodness.
appearances. So yeah, great. I mean, we dove headfirst into the video side when we first started off. Being an
Yeah.
entrepreneur years and years ago was always video because I was at an event in Vegas and I remember Gary Vaynerchuk getting up there talking and
Yeah.
one of the Shark Tanks. So you got to do video, video, video. So I came back to my office back in the day when I had a full team of people. I said, okay, we're going to do a video every day.
Yeah.
And they're like, what? I'm
Yeah.
like, no, we're going to do a Facebook Live every day. And
Yeah.
so we did 150 days straight of that. So that was like 30 business weeks. And then from that, we had some friends that were in the podcast. It's like, man, this is good stuff. You got to turn into a podcast. I was like, oh, no. I don't want to take an hour and make it turn into 4 hours of work.
Yeah.
And like, no. Doesn't anybody like that? So that's what we kind of started was November 4th of now, which would be 2016 is when we launched our podcast. It's the first one.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dude, that's unreal because what the average podcast, I think I heard something like they never get past what, 2 episodes or something like that?
If you make it past 10 episodes, you're doing pretty good for the
That's
most part.
crazy.
But
That's
it's like,
crazy.
yeah, if you hit 100 episodes, you're in the top 1% for the most part. And
You
we've
have
got
you have any idea what your the listen time or the watch hours are or any of that right
I
now?
I don't know off of podcasts. I mean, we're at
Yeah,
1.6 million downloads, something like that.
that's
The thing that's so great about podcasts and the audio side versus like video or a Facebook post or stuff like that is people are listening like 86% of the time. So you're in their
Yeah.
ears from the beginning. Whereas like, we know Facebook has like a 24 to 40 hour
Yeah.
lifetime, you know.
And it is
You,
poof.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. YouTube is about 11 to 12%, because people will scroll. This other socials is all seconds, but that's what we always like that idea is like, okay, we're going to leverage this to get to the masses. And
Yeah.
while some of the old dogs out there, well, a podcast is truly only audio. I'm like, well, it doesn't matter if you say that,
Yeah.
when an audience is consuming your content, whether it's video or audio, and they call it a podcast, that's what I go by. And
Yeah.
one number that always stuck in my head was like, okay, if only 26% of people are listening to podcasts, that means you're missing out on 74% of other people out there. So like I said, well, let's just be everywhere. I was joking. I love the smell of napalm marketing in the morning where we're just gonna carpet bomb everywhere,
But the truth is, and you and I talked about this, we kind of caught back up at
Yeah.
the Magnify Your Wealth event, and you and I have had conversations a lot
Yep.
since then. That was only a few months ago.
Yep.
And the truth is right now with the way AI has shifted and the way marketing has shifted and it's shifting even faster. I mean, even in this last couple of weeks, we've seen Google and Apple make an agreement where Gemini now is supporting Siri. I'm going, seriously? Google and Apple never play nice together. So that was interesting. And then Chat's coming out with ads, and they just launched all their ads in Chat GPT, and all of this stuff is kind of happening right now. Even in just a little bit of time, you have to carpet bomb. Like you have to get your stuff everywhere, or you're not going to be seen by AI. It's not going to see you as a credible source. And that's the one thing you've done is you've put it everywhere.
Well, and that's the big thing is that we always have taken like a marketing first mentality to things. I
Yeah.
was very very lucky when I first got is in a real estate where I'm at kind of this day back in 2004. I had a couple marketing mentors that really taught me some great stuff. And unfortunately, most entrepreneurs they think of marketing on the last part of the day, like the last
Right.
hour. Well,
Right.
we're tight for budget wise. We can't do that. And I've flipped the script. Like, no, the first hour of every day is got to be about marketing, and we've got to make sure that our marketing budgets are always covered because that drives the engine for everything.
Right.
You know, and whereas it's not. And here's the thing about podcasters too. No offense to anybody out there listening. I've from going to all these podcasting conferences, I come across that there's basically three buckets of podcasters. Okay, like Podfest
Okay.
was this past weekend. I didn't go to, but there's FinCon that I go to. Podcast Movement, I'm a big part of. If you take it, there's basically 50%. 50% of people that show up to podcasting summit want to do something. They want to
Yeah.
do a show, but they never get off their ass to do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do nothing.
The other 50% is split down the middle where you got, okay, some people that will start something, but they do it very half-assed, which is the cheapest way.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to do any work. And then the
Yeah.
final 24% or 25% is the people that understand the investment side of it and realize it's not a get known overnight aspect or fame overnight thing. It's something that's consistency is what makes it successful, whether it's once a week or, once a day or, a couple
Yeah.
times a week.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing, and you have to be in it for the long haul, like anything. So I always tell folks, like, if you're a real estate investor, are you just being a real estate investor for a month, a
Yeah.
week, a year? No, you're always going to be. So understand this marketing side is going to help you evolve and stand way above, heads and tails above your competition, where others won't. We'll start going to do that stuff.
Yeah, the amount of content, my assistant and I were talking the other day, and she goes, I see Scott's stuff all the time now because she was looking for your stuff as we were getting ready for this and the other stuff that we've
Mm.
done on your show. And she said, man, he puts out so much content every day. She's like, that's all they do is put out content. And for her to say that because that's what she does for me at social media, that there's got to be a lot of content for her to say that. And so I know you guys are putting out a ton of content. You and I were just talking about it doesn't have to be that difficult. This does not have to be this takes 10 hours a day to put out content, blah, 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 blah. Like, give people an idea of how you actually do that.
It's about 3 hours a week.
Yeah, that's
3 hours a week. So,
craziness.
so basically, it's not always that. So, like for my main show, the Note Closer Show, which is the number one podcast for note and distressed real estate investing out there, and we have the number one YouTube channel for that. That's three long form videos, 3 episodes. Will be at least 15 minutes long. Sometimes it may be 45 minutes. Sometimes it might be an hour. Occasionally, we'll actually record a webinar where we're like breaking down a tape, which could be an hour and a half, but
Yeah,
we don't do that every day. It's like an hour is the prime time. So, roughly about 2 hours between the 3 episodes a week. We then take that episode, turn into a video on YouTube. We upload that to Restream, and Restream rebroadcasts it the next day. across our whole social media. That's LinkedIn Live, Facebook Live, our business and personal profiles, Instagram, Twitch, Amazon Live.
Dude,
And
you're
I
on
know
Twitch?
I'm on Twitch. I got like one viewer on Twitch every
I
time we
love
post
it.
a video of that. Yeah. You
Yeah,
know,
these video game guys are gonna be going, who's that guy?
yeah, exactly. And that's fine. It's just getting there. I'm not on OnlyFans yet. Okay. So we're not doing that yet. But anyway, but that rebroadcasts it. And then of course, then we take the same video and then we upload that to Opus Clip AI, which
Yeah,
then that goes out there and slices it up into 20 to 30 short videos with the descriptions, the title, even the hashtags in it, and then it ranks it for me from like a 99 to 70 on grading it how viral it may go.
right.
And so I spend probably 20 minutes twice a week going on there and scheduling one short video to go across all our social, Instagram, Twitter, same
Right.
things,
Right.
from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. at night, Monday through Thursday, or Sunday through Thursday. Friday, it's from 8 to 4 on Friday and Saturday. But that's where we just start carpet bombing on all that stuff. And then, of course, then we take the audio side of it and we drop that transcription into Gemini or ChatGPT or something like that, 5.1 or whatever like that, and say, okay, give me a blog post about
Yep.
that. And so that goes into our LinkedIn newsletter about a week or two later.
Yeah, I love it.
So it's just kind of a systemized process, audio to video to replay to shorts to newsletter, and then
Yeah.
just keep rinse and repeating all that stuff.
What I love is you made the comment right before we got on that when you and I met at Magnify, you said you might have one or two people that have reached out to you. You
Yep.
just said now you're starting to have people reaching out to you almost every day that's saying, I found you on AI, whether it's chat or whatever they found you on. They're seeing you now on AI as the source for notes and the real estate stuff that you do and all the things that you're doing. That's only been a couple of months ago, and you're already moved to that point. That just shows how fast AI can move now. It's
Oh,
no longer the game, this long game that you have to play with SEO.
oh, it's so true. It's so true. Every to the point where we're getting it enough that I went in and changed my Calendly booking link to say, "How did you come across me?" Instead of a
Yeah,
podcast or YouTube, it's now throwing an AI in there,
yeah,
and it's led to for those of the business owners out there. Not only has it led to people reaching out to me to uh, sign up for classes and workshop or
sure.
education, but it's also led to people calling me with deals, note deals or
I have a
scenarios.
house, or yeah,
Yeah, I got a note for sale, or
yeah,
hey, I've got some money to invest with, and your name
yeah.
came up in AI. So that's always a good thing.
Which is great. I mean, that's like you just said a minute ago, the thing people don't realize, and I think we've seen this across it, and it's not just real estate, man. It doesn't
Yeah,
matter
it's
what
everywhere.
business they're in. They don't think marketing first. And so, like you said, they think marketing comes last. And they think, oh, well, I'm going to go do all these other things. People don't realize, and especially this year, I talked to a company the other day, they're down 65%. 65% from last year, they're down right now. And they can point to AI and go, it's because of AI. They know because they've lost that much traffic. It's not like the market's down. There's still the same amount of people looking for the same amount of business or more. They just aren't getting seen, man. And if you don't get seen right now, if you're not the answer, if you're not getting seen in AI, then you're not in the conversation at all. You probably are going to lose your business in 2026 unless you got another solution.
Well, I think that's the biggest thing. You're so right. You got to evolve with the times. What worked,
Yep.
2 years ago doesn't work today. And
Right.
we've always seen that in real estate, no matter what the niche is. Whether you're chasing foreclosures or short sales or subject to deals or distressed borrowers, there's always been lead sources, lists you could buy, but then it's the whole marketing side of things of dropping a ton of money in direct mail campaigns or pay
Right.
per click. And that was a big thing 6 months ago. I saw from a lot of my cohorts in crime, and I got a couple of buddies that run some big agencies. They're like, pay per click, it just completely fell off the
It did.
cliff.
It did.
It just completely went from $1 to $2 to $8 to twelve
Yeah.
dollars a
Yeah.
lead now,
Yeah.
and more than that. And so we've never done the pay per click because like it just doesn't make sense. We've always
No,
been a
why
big
why do that when you got all the organic?
yeah, exactly. And people are like, you got, oh, I'm like, well, I got 1,000 episodes and then I got all this stuff. And as I took your
Consistency.
advice, consistency, but that's why I like picking your brain. It's like, the whole like lists, like the top 10 questions or the top 20
Yep.
questions or your
Yep.
FAQs. So we
Yep.
have a whole series of those, what's the top 20 questions don't investors ask? What's the top 20 questions do real estate investors ask? What are the
Right.
top 20 questions people in Austin ask? Just to really hone into that and realize, look, it may not happen overnight with that stuff, but that's the long term investment that took us 30 minutes to record,
Yeah.
and come up with it, that it's going to lead exponentially stuff. And it's just like, I call it fishing. What, if you think about the 12 apostles in Christ, they weren't going out and fishing with one
Nope.
hook. They were
Nope.
casting a net. You know what I
Yep.
mean? And that's the way I look at every piece of content: short, long, video, image, AI generated or I generated. It's a extra chunk or square in that net to make my net bigger.
Yeah, we're literally planting seeds that could, anytime somebody's going to potentially be able to find it. We're seeing in what people don't understand about the way AI works, even is it could pull page one ranking means nothing to AI.
Yeah.
So it could pull something that's 5 pages deep that you put up 5 months ago, and you put up this great list about whatever it is that has to do with real estate or notes or whatever, and it could see that as an authority piece because it sees this whole ecosystem of you out there,
Yeah.
and it pulls that sucker in. We were talking earlier. I know you were going, "What are you talking about?" Because I told you I'd tell you on the show.
I am
If you don't
Groot. I
have,
am Groot.
yeah, yeah. One of the things that we've been doing, I have one of these, by the way, is there's a thing called Grokkopedia. And it's
Rockopedia.
kind of
Okay.
like Wikipedia, but it's through Grok, right?
Twitter, through Twitter, huh?
Yeah, it's this.
Actually, my Grok AI is her name is Gigi.
Oh,
Okay,
there
so
you go.
I talk to her every morning during my walk. Gigi, what are the top four articles in real estate
That's
this morning?
right. That's right. Good OGG. Yeah, I love it. And it's kind of crazy. People don't understand that not only has the marketing side of it changed, the marketing side has to change because the search side has changed. People are doing exactly what you just said. They're talking to their AI, whatever their AI choice is. But Grokkopedia is like a Wikipedia, but it's you. So Scott Carson could have his own Grokkopedia. And that Grokkopedia is going to pull resources in. So anybody out there can set up a Grok, like their own, especially if they have enough resources out there and enough things out there to pull their stuff in. So it's going to go out and it's going to find citation sources just like AI does. And it's going to say all of this content about you that has to do with you based on what it finds out there. And so it's fascinating, man. But it's another, like you just said, it's another seed that's planted. It's another line in the water that puts your name and your information out there so that you become the answer, the source, the authority for whatever it is that you do online. So if somebody's listening, it doesn't matter if you own a boutique or if you're cleaning up dog poop in the backyard, or if you're the pool guy, or you're building houses, or you're the guy that does concrete, or you own some kind of restaurant. It literally does not matter what you do. You really need to get yourself out there as a brand on AI, whether it's your name or your business. So you are getting known now. Like you just said a minute ago, you said people are finding you now whenever they search for notes
Yeah.
or anything that has to do with that, right?
Well, yeah, it's distressed notes, note investing. We've even had a few asset management banks actually have reached out and made phone calls with us
That's super
on
cool.
some stuff. So yeah, it's just because we generate it, and I that's one thing I always try to think: what are people thinking of? What's going on in the market? And that
Yeah.
helps us lead some stuff. So it's relevant search information that gets more hits that way too. And then also just seeing what's hitting well on other people's. If I don't have an idea, just see what's garnering the most attention on like LinkedIn,
Yeah.
and posting stuff on there, or commenting on people's posts, and or sharing stuff on people's posts, episodes that fit in with that, and other things like that. But even like going back and rewriting, this one thing you taught me, taking our successful episodes and then rewriting the podcast,
That's
rewriting the
right.
audio, and creating a new blog to refresh that inventory so it becomes multiple posts versus just one article.
Yeah. Now you've got the same thing written a different way, hitting a different audience. And it's,
Yes.
the crazy thing people don't realize, I just read something that was talking about how YouTube is one of the most cited sources now for health and wellness. And people don't realize like YouTube videos are crazy powerful. Everything that we put on YouTube is being crawled by AI daily. People don't realize that those transcripts are available, so it's getting pulled in. And then when you do what you just talked about and put it over on LinkedIn or put it on a blog or put it wherever, it's literally creating additional power and authority, like stacking it. It's just
Yep.
stacking it. Even to the point where you could take and put all your episodes on one gigantic spreadsheet inside of Google, inside of a Google Drive that's actually public, and it's going to crawl all that stuff. Like it's fascinating where all it's crawling. It's crawling. Yeah, I saw that. There's a bunch of
So that
idea.
becomes
There's a
like your
bunch of stuff.
it's like your own Substack,
It
basically.
is. It's exactly what it is. And so by you doing that, you're giving yourself another piece of another way that Google's finding you. Everybody's finding. Like people don't realize. Like, did you see the other day? Like Gemini is now able to crawl your emails.
I had seen that. Yeah, I hadn't a chance
Yeah,
to dive into that. That's a little
yeah.
scary.
It's gonna get
Especially all
really
those fraudsters and the politics these days. That's going to be a little scary there. That's why Hillary and Bill aren't showing up for deposition.
Yeah, it's gonna get wild because
Yeah.
like, there is really nothing. It's always funny to me. My dad used to say stuff like, "Well, I'm never gonna buy anything online. I don't want those people to have my information." I'm like, "Dad, they already got your information. Anybody that wants to know who you are and about you, it's already out there. Not only is it already out there now, but they are in your inbox. They're in, there's, it's, yeah, it's kind of wild where all that is getting pushed to and what all it's showing across the internet now. The data that it's pulling about you to say who you are so that it can show you the best ads and the best stuff for it to make more money. But you're right, the cost per click and everything has gone up because organic traffic for most of these companies, they're not doing SEO. And so most of their traffic is dropping off. They don't know why. They think it's the economy, they think whatever. And it's the reality is then they go spend money on cost per click or they meta ads or whatever, and it's all auction. It's all an auction. So the more people that throw money at it, the more expensive it's going to be. It's supply and demand.
Yeah. Well, it's the new ways. It's everything's speeding up.
Yep.
I can tell you a funny story. A few years ago, it actually goes back about 8 years ago. I was at a conference and my biggest competitor was there. And he's an older guy, been around for 30 years, stuff like that. But nice guy, but he has that country charm. He likes to
Oh
try
yeah.
that slower speed. And he's like, "Well, Scott, can we talk?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure. What's up, man?" I'm like, "You want to talk?" Oh, no, no, we gotta go somewhere else. Like, oh, because people don't want to see him talking to me. Okay, that's
Oh
fine.
yeah, yeah.
We got into
Competitive.
like three stories in the hotel up closer. He's like, "Well, Scott, let's do some business together. I really like for you to market this aspect of things that I'm doing." And I go, man, I take it as a compliment, but no, I'm not
Yeah.
going to do that. You need to stick in your lane. I'll stick in my lane. Well, why didn't you? All our, all these other guys are working. Why can't we work together? I said, because you talk bad about people and you would just say, I work for you now, which would
Yeah.
not be the truth. He goes, well, you got your generation just does things differently. You guys give away your stuff. I'm like, well, that's what you got to realize. You got to give away your best stuff because if you don't, somebody's going to go over to Google and type, give me your best stuff,
That's
you
right.
know?
That's right.
And what's really great too is with like a TubeBuddy that we use with our YouTube channel, I can track, other
Yeah.
people's YouTube channels. In his channel, we've doubled it and gone way beyond it, but you see everything starting to do this aspect with him, his views and number of things. I'm like, and in this industry right what now is going on in our market with distress being up and more notes and
Yeah.
more opportunities and people searching for it more. That's not the way you want your traffic to be going.
No. No. Well, you were just saying you just got dropped in your lap like 4,200 notes or something craziness.
Yeah,
And
we
then you
had
said you got another 3,000 on top of that or
yeah,
something.
yeah, exactly. I mean, that's we see a lot of distress taking place in the markets and banks at at the end of the year they want to move stuff, and then about 2 weeks into January, what they didn't close out at the end of the year, they really want to move it, and we've been seeing a lot of that, and that's the largest two lists we've gotten in the past. I can't remember a bigger list actually.
Dude, that's
You know,
crazy. That's a
yeah,
lot.
it is a lot. It takes a lot to break it down. I mean, it takes
Yeah.
a lot to go into it. It's a mixture of stuff that's only 90 days late all the way up to like 10 years late,
Yeah.
in foreclosures in 50 states. But it's just that's why you're like most people would see that. I've literally taught classes where we had realtors in a class and they get a spreadsheet and they start like melting down and crying because they can't figure out. I'm like, whoa, hang on. You
Yeah.
have to think of yourself as like a ninja, slice and
Yeah.
dice, get rid
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
and know what your buy box is, and then it's easy to
Yeah.
find that stuff in it. But that's with everything. You can't be a client to everybody, and that's what's so great about AI. It's literally helping people out there and you out there do that slice and dice from all that dead wood or the tire kickers to
Yeah.
really find the more quality leads and the more quality clients.
I love what you're just talking about there with your buy boxes. I don't think people understand how defined really they need to be in their business. I did my eForged training this morning with my students, and I asked them the question that Hormozy put out the other day about the $100 million question, which is if you could do one thing, if you could accomplish one thing this year that would not only accomplish a bunch of other goals and basically make this other stuff obsolete. If you could accomplish one thing this year, what would it be? And it makes you kind of take all of the stuff that you're doing and focus it down on one thing. And it's kind of like what you were talking about a minute ago. You decided at some point that you were like, look, marketing is going to be our thing. Like we're going to go in heavy on this. We're going to do a great job of it. We're going to put out great content. We're going to give away our best stuff. We're going to make it to where people want to listen to this, do this thing, and be a part of what we're doing. And that has led to all these people reaching out to you saying, hey, I want to work with you.
And
Um,
you have to, sometimes you might sound crazy on it.
yeah.
It may change it because we've experienced that a couple times. Like I used to travel, 35, 40 weeks out of the year,
Yeah. You
and
spoke at a lot of events and stuff.
oh yeah, speaking, conferences, summits, going out there, and like I would spend like the entire month of October in Vegas. You know what I mean? And that's not a healthy month. Let's just put it
No,
that way.
I bet you
Okay.
that wasn't
Your
healthy at
kidney and
all.
liver are like, please help us. Literally a whole month. I would just go rent a suite at Caesar's Palace and just say, okay, I'm gonna be here for the month. They're like, oh, okay. You slide
Wow.
that Vegas 100 over, and you're like, oh, getting like rates for nothing. But oh, we can book this for a whole month. Let's do it, cheap price.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
now it was just so good. So we was like, well, let's go to the virtual side of things. Let's
Yeah.
embrace the new online classes. Like we broke Google Plus Live or Google Live one
Oh
time,
my
and
goodness. Yeah.
and everybody's like, oh, you're stupid and crazy to be doing your workshops on them. I'm like, no. I mean, when you look at the overhead and the exhaustion
Yep.
that goes into it,
Yep.
and so that transitioned into one thing ahead of time. People called me crazy about that. Then they are like, well, you still need to go out and speak. I said, well, I still go out and speak some, but I was like, I don't want to go to all these little conferences anymore when I can have the podcast, connect with as
Yeah.
many people, if not, or speak on other people's podcasts, and I can still be at home eating my own food, sleeping in my own
Yeah.
bed, and only spend three
Yeah.
hours versus wasting 3 days.
Yeah.
And so we did that, and that was, oh, that's gonna, well, no, we're still here, and everybody is flailing. And what's funny too is I kind of chuckled about this. This is a revelation last night as I'm flipping through and looking at things, and we've seen more and more people that aren't closing deals. They're not getting these lists, so they're going the route. Well, we can't market for deals. Let's talk about deals. Let's go in the
Uh,
education side of things. And I just kind of chuckled. I was like, well, I'm about to carpet bond about taking that 4,000 list and carpet bond about 100 different case studies out there and just decimate everybody.
close deal. Close
Close
deal.
deal,
Deal.
close
Close
deals.
deal.
Yeah, here's a deal, here's a deal,
Yeah.
here's a deal. They're everywhere. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
So are you seeing right now in because I know real estate's all over the place. Like I know that the notes, like you said, there's a lot of distressed properties right now, distressed notes because of just what's going on in the economy, people losing jobs, whatever.
Yeah.
All of those good things. Are you seeing the real estate industry shifting again? I mean, do you feel like 2026 is going to be like this wild year?
Well, let's look at what most people come in contact with. So, like, if you look back at numbers from last year talked about, and I'll just talk the basic of realtors.
Yeah, yeah.
So, like last year, about 50% of people, realtors sold one deal or
Yeah.
less. That's
Yeah.
you can't survive. They looked at the numbers from last year, only 87%, only like, sorry, 17% of realtors actually closed on more than one deal.
Oh my goodness.
Talking about, rats leaving a sinking ship because when the market's going up, everybody can market.
Everybody.
But when you get difficulty and the market's changing, you got to be more creative and relationships and pivot and stuff like that. And so we're actually, I'm really excited about it. My better half is getting her license. And people are like, why would you
Oh
get a
wow.
license right now? And I'm like, because I'm seeing all these foreclosures coming. We're just going to use it as a referral method out to other
Yes.
realtors. I
Yes.
don't have,
Yes.
she ain't got to drive around and look at 30 houses or deal with annoying buyers or sellers. Just literally flip it and market it through AI and through our already relationships to pocket another whole,
Dude, I love
commission
that.
base.
I love
You know what I
that.
mean? And then
Yeah.
that's why we also started the whole like the local Texas podcasting networks across 7 cities just
Yeah.
to do that same thing for referral basis.
Man, I love that. Just recently I taught at one of the big KW places here in Lubbock. I just taught at another local brokerage a couple weeks ago. We just brought on a realtor and a mortgage company that we're going to be doing AI marketing here
Nice.
locally. And I told them, I'm like, look, literally what we can do is we can take over all of the Lubbock market for you so that if anybody's looking for anything that has to do with anything to do with what you want to do, you'll show up. Like we can do that now and we can do it fairly quickly. So, which is just a whole different, it's just a different beast than it used to be. It's a whole different way of doing marketing, everything that we do. But I love that you're taking and pivoting to what you know is coming and you see it. You already see that it's going to be happening because there's going to be huge amounts of opportunity out there for you and your wife and all of the things that are going on. This could be huge for you. 2026 could be a massive year for you. They even said there's like 1,700 realtors or something like it in Lubbock.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. There was close
There
to
was only
10,000.
400 something houses even sold last month, I think.
Yeah. Well, Mark,
1,700 realtors. Like,
inventory across the board is obviously skyrocketed as listings have gone on. And like I was
yeah.
talking with my buddy here locally, Boyd, I've known for years, and he was saying, yeah, your normal days on market instead of being 2 weeks in Austin are now 3 months. You have
Wow.
to expect that. And another realtor was giving him a hard, it was calling him like, hey man, what's it like to have a unicorn where it's a house that's actually getting showings? You know what I mean? And so you have to keep that in mind. I think back to 2008, 9, and 10 because I went through that
Yeah,
mortgage
yeah,
side, the
yeah.
origination side, and things like that. And that's where the marketing comes in handy. You got to understand how people are viewing things and digesting and consuming content and get outside those norms of, hey, I'm going to go knock on 50 doors or I'm going to call 50 expireds. That can still happen, but it's the whole
Yeah.
thing of your time is so much more valuable these days and you can do so much more in a lot slower thing. Like there's a tool we just came across called Audio Go. Have you heard about this thing? It's actually a marketing piece for realtors. It's kind of a cool thing. Yeah, Audio Go that you can actually it'll market to podcasts or market to radio stations in specific cities.
Oh,
And so you can
interesting.
pick the cities and it's like $12 per thousand listens, I guess, or downloads or stuff
Wow.
like that. And you start off with like a budget of $250. Well, that should lead to like 12,000 downloads, 12,000
That's a
things.
lot.
That's a lot. And you can pick city by city. It's not like just a blanket thing. It's like
Yeah.
you can be very detailed in what you're looking at. So that's one thing we're exploring. Like, okay, what are our top 50 markets?
Yeah.
Let's play around with it where we can hit those specific markets to drive stuff.
Wow. Wow. I've never heard of that. That's kind of cool.
You just literally, I think AI recommended it to me from,
Yeah, right? Right? I
wouldn't be
was I was
surprised.
laughing. I'm in the realtor's office the other day and we're talking about how people use an AI right now. And the lady next to me, she goes, yeah, my neighbor actually filmed her dog walking because her dog was having problems walking and put it into chat and said, can you diagnose what's wrong with my dog? Chat diagnosed it and she said, well, how do I treat this? Figured out what the treatment was, went and got the stuff, came back and helped her dog. I'm going, this is the world we live in now. People don't
Hmm.
realize like it's just a different society. People don't realize like Instagram's the second largest searched platform now. Like it
Yeah.
just is. And
Yeah.
then on top of that, Google Lens, people don't realize how many searches a day Google Lens gets. Even imagery can be super powerful nowadays.
Yeah, well, and the same thing like with I think I was reading an article from a buddy of mine, Matt Wolf, out in California, does a lot of stuff in AI too. And he started a YouTube channel just on AI back like 2 years ago. Now all the major
Oh,
brands pay him to
oh
discuss
yeah.
their changes. But
Yeah.
he mentioned that this is the first month, or December was the first month that Threads had more traffic than
Yes.
Twitter.
Yes.
Or sorry, X we
X.
call it, should,
Yeah. Yeah. Get it
Um,
right, man. Get it
I
right.
know. Come on, Elon. I mean, that's our next governor here in Texas. I hope you. That's probably not going to happen. But anyway, but that's the thing to think about. People are like, "Oh, I'm going to avoid threads." It's just,
Yeah.
it's kind of, it's running its course. It's a whole lot better than what was that audio platform that we had during COVID. That
I don't
was
even
everybody
know.
was
There's been so many
so many.
platforms, dude.
Yeah,
I
but that's
told
the thing.
somebody
It's
said that about Threads, though. I think Threads has taken off because of the money.
oh, it
There's
totally is.
monetization. So
Yep.
people are pumping tons of content into it because they can monetize it.
Yeah. Well, and that's the
So it
thing
makes
is,
sense. People
yeah,
are
it
going to
totally
follow the
makes
money.
sense. Yeah, exactly. And I think X has become so nasty in a lot of cases too. A lot of stuff there you have to kind of get off there because if you mention whether you're a Democrat or Republican, something like that, your whole feed changes overnight.
Yeah, everything
Stuff
changes.
like that. And it's just like it's sad for that. And I think Threads is much more neutral from that kind of hate speech on either sides of the aisle. You know what I mean?
Well, I think one of the things people don't realize is if you go on any social media platform, because especially with AI, the way it works now,
Yeah.
if you go on any media platform and if you don't like what you're seeing, you can literally change it just by searching for, let's say I want to see puppy dog memes and that's all I wanted to see. I could literally go search puppy dog memes, find a bunch of those things, follow, click on a few of them, like a few of them, and all of a sudden I'm going to see a bazillion puppy dog memes. Like you can change your feed instantly now just with the way AI works.
Yeah.
And people don't realize that like they don't have to see what they're seeing. Like
No.
their patterns are what's continuing to show them what they're seeing. And so
It's
yeah.
funny you say that because my better half I mean, we have cats, okay? I'm a cat
Yeah.
dad, you know, right? She is a She's a great cat lady, let's put it that way. So my Facebook or TikTok or Instagram thread is full of like
Cat
videos she
memes.
sends me, cat
Yeah.
memes. And now
Yeah.
my feed is full of cat memes.
Yeah.
And I just have to, and she's like, well, I sent you that. It's like, I already saw it before. Well, how'd you see it? I said, because
Yeah.
it's now showing me that stuff at the same time. You know what I mean?
Well, and everything's a signal.
Yep.
So this is exactly how AI works. Everything's a signal out there, and it says that you are this, or you're watching this, or you're gonna potentially click on this or view this or whatever, because it all is trying to push ads. It's all trying to push money. It's all trying to push something that's going to create more content for that platform and keep you there. I heard
Hmm.
the other day something like 6 hours is the average scroll time a day on social media
It's
right now.
crazy. It's so
Six
crazy.
hours.
Exactly. During football season, this is a great thing. So I've got a pretty stable Twitter account, but when we go out during football season, we go to a lot of the local high school football games, right?
Oh yeah.
No kids of our own, but we go out and celebrate the local. So I'm going out there and like giving Twitter updates, little videos of the scoring plays and sharing stuff. And I've had some videos that hit like 500,000 views or 20,000 views
That's
overnight.
crazy.
Yeah, and so I'm getting people following me on the real estate side of things because they came across because of the football thing. I'm like, well, the only one posting the winning score to the Yoakum football game or the
Yeah,
winning
yeah, yeah.
kick for West. And so that's an interesting thing I've seen happening when I go and look at these new followers. I'm like, oh, they came from the football side of things. They
Yeah.
came from this, and so it's interesting. I think that's one thing it's so important, especially being a business owner. And I know this is probably you'll really identify with it is knowing who your client is. We know that,
Yeah.
but then also identifying their other interests,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I always name our avatar, our listeners, our two best clients I like to say is our cheerleaders is Laura and Steve. You know what? And thinking what Laura and Steve are interested in that falls
Yeah.
in line with that. Well, that means they're interested in real estate, rehabbing, retirement. They have kids. They're worried about taxes this time of
Right.
year,
Right.
school, all that stuff. And so, what movies are Steve and Laura watching as well too?
Yep. Yep.
And so thinking about that and increasing that into our content to drive that more engagement across multiple facets versus just, hey, I'm looking for a real estate investor, or
Yeah.
fix and flip deal.
I don't think most people could probably tell you their avatar for
Oh
their
no,
business.
no.
Yeah. I know we've done the same thing. We've gone out. I mean, we've spent millions and millions and millions of dollars on ads for the training programs that I have. And I can't tell you how many people have come to me and said, you know how I found you? And I'm like, I don't know. And they said, I saw your ad and you were in fly fishing gear standing in the middle of a river. And that caught my attention because I love to fly fish. I can't tell you how many clients I've got because I did an ad with fly fishing. And it was just me standing in a river. I had a rough day. I didn't catch any fish. I was tired, I was exhausted, and I thought, I'm going to film a video. And I filmed a video, and it became, I'm pretty sure, up until even the last ads that we ran for that program, I'm pretty sure that was the best producing ad that we had. And again, there was no lighting, me on my phone, no mic, no nothing, just me with my bib, my waders
The
on, and
water in the background. I remember seeing it actually.
yep.
Yeah, yeah.
People will tell me, I remember seeing you in the river with your fly fishing rod talking about how you didn't catch any fish that day and blah 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 blah. And what's funny is I don't even know that they could tell you what the program was about or any of that. They just remember. So again, it goes back to what you're just talking about. Like if you can figure out what Laura and Steve want, like if they like fly fishing or if they like whatever it is that they do, like that's going to attract them. Jesse Itzler uses that all the time. His running stuff and the outdoor stuff and the type of
Eating
people.
fruit before lunch aspect of things for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he goes after a certain type of person, and all of his content's kind of focused on that, and he does extremely well doing that.
That's the thing too. I saw him speak at Traffic and Conversion Summit a few years back, and the whole idea of geo targeting,
Yeah,
finding what if you can find that avatar or find those interests, and then finding what like big events are taking place
yeah,
around that aspect. Like, well, let's use cats for an example. If you're a big cat fan, there are different like Pop Cats is this big like pop culture cat 2 day event that happens in Chicago, San Diego, Austin, and I think Florida as well too. And so you could target to the people attending Popcats, which surprisingly is like 15 to 20,000 people showing up at these events. It's an interesting kind of thing, but understanding that, like, okay, the new cat collar, you know what I mean, or the cat litter box that cleans itself and then sprays a magnolia flavored
that's
mist to
right. That's right. That's what everybody
that's
needs.
that's what everybody. If you got cash, trust me, you want some spray. But that's the thing. Besides, like, hey, just come fix my car or come
Yeah,
show up and help me sell your house. That's understanding. Like, I always crack up because some of the new more popular like, real estate videos are the people running through the house.
yeah,
You know, and that's just because that people like to see the personality or the like.
yeah.
This has got the world's smallest kitchen. You could even cook a turkey in the oven. They hate videos when it comes to real estate. Just and it comes down to being a personality,
It
being
does.
yourself, not trying to copy what Gary Vee or Hermosi or any of the
Yeah.
folks out there or Jasmine Star, any of those folks out there that they're taking place. Be yourself. That's what we all need. That's what people identify with.
Yeah, and I think it's just taught me over through the years that people that like you, people they get to know you because of your content. They believe who you are because they've seen so much content about you and they've heard you talk. And like I'll have students go, man, I've been listening to you for like 30 hours now. And they're like, it's fascinating because
Yeah.
they go through my trainings and all of that, and they hear my voice and see me over and over again teaching, training, doing this and that. And it's just fascinating to me because they like, not only do they like, know, and trust you, but they like know you. Like
Yeah.
and when I see them in an event, they know me because they've spent so much time with me. I haven't spent much time with them, but they know me, which is a really
Mhm.
weird dynamic, by the way. It's
Yeah,
really
it's a
strange.
little scary, but it's probably akin to like a movie star in a
It
case or
is.
something like that. People showing up and know more about you. I had a chance to meet Russell Crowe
Yeah.
last year. He was touring the country in his rock band here, and he showed up to Stubbs Barbecue. It's 110 degrees in the middle of the summer
Yeah.
there.
Ghetto Stubbs.
Stubbs, and I'm like, oh man, that's my favorite. I'm like, I'm gonna do something different. So taking something to have him sign something. I heard him on a podcast. He hadn't been in Texas in over 20 years. I was like, I'm gonna take him a pair of boots. So I go to Boot Barn. I'm like, I gotta find the right size. So I'm like Googling, trying to find the right
Yeah.
size, and AI's
Russell
pulling
Crowe's
up.
boot size.
Exactly. You don't see that like say a size 11.
No,
I'm like, okay, well, I'll go
that's
buy
probably not on
12.
his Wikipedia account.
It's not Wikipedia. It was some weird thing. Like I was trying to see, like, did the boots from Gladiators sell? What size were those?
Yeah.
What popped up was Russell Crowe's thong
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
from the last blockbuster up in Alaska, that they'd bought. And so it's funny. So I go buy these pair of 12 boots. I'm like, I'll get extra pair of socks and insoles. And so we get there in line, and he shows up a little late, a little drunk. And people are like, what do you have him sign a pair of boots? Like, no, I'm gonna give it to him. So I walk up to him, and he's like looking at me kind of funky. And I'm like, hi, I'm a big fan. Here's a little bit of a late birthday gift from Texas. You can't come to Texas not wear boots. He goes, oh man, wait, what size is it? I go, it's a size 11. He's, he goes, well, online it says a size 11. Oh no, that's wrong size. I'm like, well, it's a good thing I got size 12. And he started laughing about that. I says, you might want to go correct that. He goes, yeah, I've probably been given a dozen pair of boots that are all too small for my feet. And
Funny.
it was hilarious. High five. He's like, "Do you want me to sign something for you?" I'm
Yeah.
like, "No, we're good." But that's you got to put out what you want.
Yeah.
I've had from our podcast, people have sent me, Cuban cigars and bottles
Yeah.
of Crown. And we did one fun thing a few years back where, like, because we knew we had an international audience. I said, well, if you're from somewhere outside the United States, send me a flag from where you're at. I'll take a
Wow.
picture of it and then we'll give you a free class. We had, flags from Canada and Israel and Afghanistan. We had a couple guys that were over in Iraq that sent me the flag, the Iraqi
Wow.
flag and the American flag that was waving over the base over there one time because they were listening to me on a daily basis. So,
Wow.
that's the most crazy thing is, like, you never know who's listening or watching
Yeah.
your stuff out there, and realize your audience. If you're local, that's great, but you also get a lot of people outside of that in today's world, and it's literally such a small world these days because of that.
Man, that's craziness. Yeah, you just don't realize. I know we have a lot of international listeners, which is because of some of the things that we've done to market and push
Yeah.
out, which it wasn't intentional even. It just kind of happened. So that's been interesting getting to hear that, which I have students around the world, so it doesn't surprise me too terribly much. We've got a
Right.
couple of thousand students that are spread out all over the place, pretty much every continent. So we have people that are, some of them just working places and they're trying to find an extra side hustle gig of some
Right.
sort. And we have other people that are on the mission field or doing whatever it is they're doing, and they've followed me because of whatever business or training or something that they saw me in. But yeah, that's super cool. If somebody wanted to find out more about you and they wanted to get to know, especially if somebody's listening, I know we have a lot of people that are even in my program that invest in real estate and do different things that are kind of more your market, the notes and all the stuff that you do. How would they find you? Like where's the best place to find you online? I know
Best
you're
places are,
everywhere.
yeah, best places go to our website.
Your market, the notes and all the stuff that you do. How would they find you? Like where's the best place to find you online? I know
Best
you're
places are,
everywhere.
yeah, best places go to our website, weclosenotes.com.
Okay.
That's easy. That's our, you'll find our podcast videos and training stuff like there. But you can always book a phone call with me if you want to pick my brain for a little bit, or just chat about marketing and real estate by going to our calendar, which is easy. Just go to talkwithscottcarson.com.
Yeah,
Simple.
that's easy enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, your
Yeah.
name.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Talk
that's
with Scott Carson. I want to talk with Scott. Not a lot of ingenious thought went into buying that URL. You know what I mean?
Man, I love it. Thank you so much for being on today, breaking down kind of from an operator's perspective, like how you got started, where you come from, what you're doing now. I love the fact that this conversation wasn't about hype or even shortcuts. This was about understanding like how a business gets built, how marketing actually works, how to create leverage inside of your business through education, execution, and now AI. Guys, if you're listening, you want to learn more about note investing or any of that, like Scott said, make sure and go find him on We Close Notes or talkwithscottcarson.com. I know he would love to speak with you. I know I have a lot of listeners that are kind of in that market looking for things like that. So you guys make sure and go give him a little love, follow his podcast. I know he's got a lot of great episodes out there, and you've even done some that are just strictly marketing and AI that I know could help people to see, especially from the podcast stand. If you're doing a podcast and you want just some tips and tricks, I know he's put out a lot of great content. So go connect with him, explore his content. To our listeners, guys, here's the biggest takeaway. The opportunities don't disappear. They just shift. Exactly what Scott was talking about earlier. The people who win are the ones that are willing to learn what others ignore while also learning how to communicate and market that expertise effectively. They need to be everywhere. If you got value from today's episode, make sure you subscribe, leave a review, share it with an investor, an entrepreneur who needs to hear this conversation. Guys, until next Thursday, keep forging forward, stay aligned with your calling, build with clarity, confidence, and conviction, because this is the forge where leaders are made and legacies are built.